for you. I want to talk about Strings of Life, though. You really snapped on this one. I don't know when the last time you listened to it or even played it, but it's a perfect remake of a classic, a classic. Like,
yeah.
Once again, a foundational classic of house music.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But you went with a groovy tech house turn on the drop. So I kind of see, you challenge yourself to go from, I don't even know if it's challenge yourself. I don't even know that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But when we look at the previous songs and then some follow-ups, you started to kind of give yourself the range of, I can also make slam and tech house. I can make piano house. I can make soul, whatever it is. Tell me about how that one kind of came together, because you fused so many elements of it.
Yeah. Do you know what? That track, the more I think about it, was like the game changer to my kind of, just the way probably people perceive me, because, it was almost like, where has that come from to a lot of people? And not only that is, it got people's attention, and, it got support of Tool Room. That night was playing it. Kiss, like the big radio stations started, not all of them, but some of them supported it, big DJs. And it's a good story that, so basically at that point in my career, it feels weird to say the word career, because I just don't see this as a career, but I felt a bit cringy saying that. But at that point in my fun, I was managed by a guy called Carl Hannigan. So for people that don't know Carl Hannigan's like a very reputable guy in the UK house scene.
Yeah,
he's worked for Ministry of Sound, CR2 Records. Head Candy is a big brand in the UK, which is like kind of like a Defected style brand back in the day, and he compiled their albums. Like, he's been and earned his stripes 10 times over, and obviously he must have heard something in me, and like we struck up a bit of a partnership, and he managed me. And what had happened was obviously Strings of Life is Strings of Life. I think it's Brothers. I can't remember the original Brothers in Rhythm. I can't remember who the original artist was that made because the problem is with a lot of house tracks is you think that was the original, but there's an original before that, and then also an original before that. So obviously you've got the Strings of Life house track, but before that there was an older version, like a disc. I want to say like a disco version. I can't remember the artist's name.
I think you're right.
I know that there's a few versions, but basically Carl Hannigan, who was managing me, did like a funky kind of, not tech house, but it was like funky jacking house version.
Yeah.
Back in like 2013, 14. And it's also interesting how things go around in circles. So he'd obviously done it, cleared the sample, had the rights to the melody and the sample and whatever. And then obviously he starts managing me. But what is crazy is when I first started DJing, one of the first tracks I ever got was Carl Hannigan, Strings of Life.
Wow.
So then fast forward 3 years, I've started producing. I'm getting managed by Carl Hannigan, and we came, and I think I jokingly said to him about remixing his version of Strings of Life, and he was like, "That is the best thing you could possibly do." But I think the reason why it came out the way it came out is because obviously I had to stay away from what he'd done. It was a remix. I wasn't just doing it the same as him. I had to remix it. Yeah. And obviously he'd remixed it in a format which was quite close to probably where I would have taken it. Piano, donkey, kind of James Hype UK house sound.
Yeah.
So I had to pull something else out of the bag. And obviously at that point, tech house was on the rise, you know, I wouldn't say Fisher probably wasn't about them, but like it was really growing this kind of tech house sound. Not that it was ever not growing anyway, but it was getting bigger around where I live.
Yeah,
I was getting cooler gigs at that point. I was inspired, and I just don't know what happened. I think obviously you had to have the pianos in there. Yeah. But on the drop, I didn't just want to be this. I wanted there to be an element of surprise, like whoa.
Oh yeah.
And I just it was a simple bass line, and I think I took the MIDI notes from the pianos and just changed a few. And I added like a big kind of moogie sub, and it just came together. Like people say, don't they, the best things happen by accident? Yeah. Like literally, bro. Like I took the MIDI part, flipped a few notes around. I didn't know music theory that well at that point. Like, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't
You got
really
lucky.
yeah, I wasn't playing the piano the way I play it now. I wasn't playing like MIDI at all. I just moved the notes around and I hit lucky. Carl loved it. Carl gave me some feedback. I changed it, and then it got on the release, and the release came out at Christmas. Mark Knight played it on the tour room radio. He gave me a shout out on the radio. It got quite a lot of streams. It got me a lot of traction, and that was kind of the start of, I guess, the journey. But a question people might wonder is like what happened after that? Like, I wouldn't say it changed things dramatically. It wasn't like I was getting massive amounts of gigs, or I wasn't getting remix requests. I wasn't getting money. Nothing changed. It just gave me a little bit more credibility.
Yeah, it was a big win for you internally, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know how big of a fan you are of Mark Knight in Tool Room, so it's so exciting to hear him say your name, right?
The logo's there, bro.
Dude.
Tool Room's right there.
He's an absolute icon. Love that, though.